Did Lamar Skeete kill Kenneth Mark? That's the question a jury is now deliberating. A murder the Crown says was motivated by revenge. The 30-year-old Walmart employee was murdered on December 29, 2009, on Dundas Street West in the Junction neighborhood. Just 12 days earlier, Lamar Skeete's brother was acquitted of attempted murder and walked out of jail a free man. It was Mark who told police that Skeete and his brother had tried to kill him in 2008, even testifying against them at trial.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Prison Audio. My name is Mike, and before we get started today, just want to say a huge thank you to everybody at Correctional Services Canada who has made this episode possible. For anybody who does not know, we are currently doing a series of podcasts with some people who are currently incarcerated in Canada, and I've been able to work with the media department there, and they have set up some interviews for me, so a huge thank you to all of them. And we're going to jump right into today's episode, but I did want to tell you a little bit about it before we get started. This is going to be part one of a series of podcasts, and this is going to be part one of the story of Lamar Skeete. Lamar is currently incarcerated in Canada, and he is serving a life sentence, which in Canada means he will be incarcerated for at least 25 years before he is eligible for parole. So this case goes back to 2009 when Kenneth Marks was murdered in the Runnymede and Dundas area of Toronto. And we're going to look at a quick news clip that kind of explains the situation before we get started in the episode. But then we will jump into this episode. And the other thing I did want to mention before we get started is that this episode is going to feature some music. Lamar is actually a musician, and he does have some music that is currently available on YouTube as well as some other platforms, which I will leave the links below to all of his music. But this episode also will include some of his songs. I thought some of his music was kind of fitting for telling his story of his life, being that he is currently incarcerated because his lyrics were basically used as evidence against him in this murder, and that's how they were able to convict him. So stay tuned till the end. I will come back with some comments, and I will see you guys then.
See, that's the Crown Attorney's motive. Because the victim cooperated with the police, Mr. Skeete wanted to kill him. No. The community that I'm from, anybody could want to kill you for that. Doesn't mean I want to kill you for that. Just because I abide by the code of silence doesn't mean that I enforce the code of silence. You understand?
Close your eyes. Believe you can do anything you want to do. You can be anything you want to be. This one's called Believe. You can be anything you want to be. If you believe, turn dreams into reality. Shall receive. Chase your dreams. Manifest, meditate, knowledge, faith. Now go create. Free game, motivation from the planet of expansion, inspiration. Close your eyes. Believe you can do anything you want to do. You can be anything you want to be. Close your eyes. Believe nothing is impossible. You can turn dreams into reality.
Lamar Skeete was born on November 30th, 1990. He grew up in Toronto, Canada, in the west end of the city, in an area known as the Junction. Yeah, so can you tell me a little bit about your childhood? And I know you grew up in the west end of Toronto, right?
Yes, I grew up in Runnymede and St. Clair, Scarman and Dundas, and Jane and Sasui area, and in and around the Junction. I went to school at Georgetown Community School, and I also went to school at Runnymede Collegiate for high school, but I went to Annette Street Public School between the ages of grade 6 to grade 9. So grade 6 to grade 8, what we call that, junior high.
I got you.
Because my mother didn't want me to go to Rockland, so we used to live at Davenport, Symington, with my mother's friend. Went to Carlton Village at the time, from grade 1 to grade 3. Then we moved to Runnymede and St. Clair. Then I went to Georgetown Community School and junior high. After you go to Georgetown Community School, you're supposed to go to Rockland. But my mom didn't want me to go to school in the project, so she made me my brother go to Annette Street Public School, which was like Hyde Park area. Went to school with more white kids, So that's where I learned how to transcend cultures and, communicate with other people. And I learned about pop music, I learned about Avril Lavigne, I learned about Eminem. That's what 8 miles coming up, you know? So some of my best friends in that school are white kids. In high school now, I was supposed to go to either Oakwood Collegiate or Western Tech, but I ended up going to Runnymede Collegiate, which is on Jay and Dundas. So those are the areas that I'm from.
So that's kind of when you first started getting into rapping and stuff, was in high school?
I started taking it serious. I was rapping
Seriously,
since I was 12 years old, but I was wanting to be a basketball player, you feel me? So when I got to high school, everyone was bigger than me, you know? In grade school, I was starting basketball team. In high school now, everybody was bigger than me. I was on the bench. So by the time I got to grade 10, I was still on the bench. I'm like, I'm not going to the NBA. So I went hard with the music. I'm like, I'm gonna be the best rhymer I can be.
Busy man going crazy.
Hey, yo, man.
Stay connected.
Sagittarius, Sagittarius. I see spiritual miracles. Flying with the fire on my arrow. Warfare put fear in the scarecrows. Sagittarius, Sagittarius. One of a kind, zodiac sign. Sagittarius, Sagittarius. Wise centaurs in the sky. Jupiter rules me, sent me to the community just to open up a window of opportunity. The color purple represents royalty, love, leadership, loyalty, victory. Turquoise is the stone that we own. With the honor to call planet Earth a home, I suggest that you don't try to infiltrate our zone, cause warfare is all we've ever known. Wise and I'm kind with a heart made of gold. Write my life in a poem, I'm just trying to heal the globe. The constellation, Chiron, Sagittarius to the bone. Sagittarius, Sagittarius. I see spiritual miracles. Flying with the fire on my arrow. Warfare put fear in the scarecrows. Sagittarius, Sagittarius. One of a kind, zodiac sign. Sagittarius, Sagittarius. Wise centaurs in the sky. My father is a Cancer, my mother is a Pisces. I'm November 30th, 1990. The universe designed me kindly. Please don't take it for weakness. My pride's mean and violent. Flying with the fire through the lightning. Dispensing justice. Always fighting for the right thing. Positive, mutable, flexible, confident. Pass down knowledge to a lot of kings. All the Davids and Solomons. Learn from them, teach patience and tolerance. The zodiacs are gods and goddesses. Shamar is my angel, guardian. Sagittarius, Sagittarius. I see spiritual miracles. Flying with the fire on my arrow. Warfare put fear in the scarecrows. Sagittarius, Sagittarius. One of a kind, zodiac sign. Sagittarius, Sagittarius. Wise centaurs in the sky.
I was Lamar Skeete's grade 6 teacher. I remember him really well. He came to my school, and it wasn't the beginning of the school year. It might have been mid to late September. I can't remember for sure. It was 2001, I believe. And the day had already started. I got a call from the office that a new student was on their way up. And I walked out to the hallway and met him and his mom, Valencia, in the hallway. And I remember that day really clearly. He was this, short kid with a little bit of a serious, sad look on his face and this big afro, and he was really cute, and I felt for him because I know it's hard to be a new kid on your first day of school, and it's not even the first day of school, so I really felt for him. And his mom explained she moved him. I can't remember what the circumstances were, but she wanted him to be at our school, and she thought it would be a good place for him, and she told me he was worried about making friends and sad to leave his old friends, but I assured her and him that, we had a great group of kids and he'd fit right in. And honestly, I think before the end of the day or the next day, he already seemed like he'd been with those kids for a long time. He fit right in. It was probably the best class I ever taught in my years of teaching, 27 years of teaching now. But I remember Lamar really well because he had this happy, positive energy all the time. He was always smiling. One thing about Lamar was that he was just always encouraging other people, and he was always happy. He always seemed happy.
So, you tell me a little bit about your family as far as you have brothers and sisters? You only
I
child,
have a brother, a
brother?
biological, me and my brother are half brothers,
Mhm.
Bar Boyer. Then I have another half brother, Shamar Boyer. He died when I was 5 years old. I grew up with my mother, Lamar Skeete, and my brother, Jabbar Boyer. Like, that's my immediate family. And then Jabbar has a lot of brothers and sisters. His father has a lot of children. So, as I said, I went to Carlton Village. So, my younger brother, Jabbar, he has a lot of family members in Pelham Park. It's an area called Pelham Park. So, I'm very active in the West End through my family side of it.
Mm. What's that? Can you tell us a little bit of like what that area is like? I lived down there myself, actually. I lived like Dundas and Kiel area for a while. But for
Yeah,
people
the
who don't
junction.
know, yeah, what's that area like? The Junction, like, what was that like growing up in that area?
Pretty much a lot of drug paraphernalia. Uh, you got different cultures. You got the gang culture, you have the gothic culture coming together. There's a lot of stores. It's pretty much like you're on Young Street because there's a lot of stores junction. So junction, so congested. Different stores, different people. But you're in the West End, so it's like a Young Street in the West End, and you have an area over there, Pelham Park meets Jane and St. Clair, meets Rennerby and St. Clair. You've got a whole lot of different activities going on there, you know what I mean? A lot of activities, a lot of drug paraphernalia, a lot of graffiti, the gangs intersect in that area. They find a common ground over there by Vine Park. There's a lot of basketball going on, a lot of festivities. So they're very active, very active.
We often did group presentations and group work, and then we shared at the front of the class together. And one thing that stands out about Lamar in my memory is that he always was the first one to give positive feedback. We had a rule that, we had to give feedback after people were done, and Lamar always had his hand up, and he was always saying, good job, you did a great job, and, giving people fist bumps. He was always the first one to, like, encourage other people. He was always smiling and positive. He spent most of his days in my classroom like that. I remember too that he was really short, so he'd often be, kneeling at his desk because I don't think the desks were the right size for him. And sometimes I would think he was fooling around, but it wasn't that he was fooling around. It was just that was the best way that worked for him to do his work. He was always, moving, kind of moving or tapping or whatever, but he was always doing his work. I can honestly say I don't think that Lamar ever said a mean word to me or, kids can be like that. Even great kids can sometimes, talk back to their teachers or say something inappropriate, but Lamar never did. Lamar was always a positive kid, and he was respectful of me all the time. And I'll even say that he was respectful of his mom. One thing that he talked about Valencia a lot at school. He loved his mom. It was clear how much he adored his mom. And he showed me the same kind of respect that I believe he showed his mom at home. He was always respectful to me. Lamar was always a happy kid, and he was positive at school, and he had really good energy, and he made friends right away at our school, and he was the kind of kid that people wanted to be around. He stood out for me, as a lot of my students do, but Lamar stood out for me. I really enjoyed being his teacher. I loved having him in my class, and I loved the way he interacted with other people. He was part of a phenomenal group of students that year, and he contributed to that classroom dynamic just like everybody else did, and it was a positive class environment for everybody. I think it was one of the best years in my teaching career.
Despite Lamar's mother's best attempts to keep him out of trouble by sending him to a new school in a different neighborhood, he did end up getting into some trouble as a kid. And that culminated at the age of 17 when Lamar was arrested for armed robbery of a taxi cab.
So on October 16, 2008, I got arrested for an armed robbery of a taxi driver. And when they came to do the arrest, the complex housing unit that they arrested me and my brother in, we found 2 guns. Those guns were not me and my brother's guns. Those got charged for guns because the police were coming to charge us for armed robbery. Now, we were guilty of the armed robbery. That was a fact. You know what I mean? When we went to jail, so when we went, October 16th, we get arrested, we go to jail the next day. That's when I first went to Hamilton Wentworth Detention Center as a young offender, 17 years old. My brother was 15 at the time. And we went to jail on armed robbery and 2 unauthorized weapon charges. Yeah, a young offender, I went to multiple institutions. So I first started off October to January. I was in Hamilton Detention Wentworth Center for young offenders, but it's mixed with the adults. So you have the 5th floors for the young offenders, the 1st floors for the young offenders, and then everything in between is adults. January, I got transferred to Sprucedale Youth Center. It was more like activities for young offenders where we could go swimming, we could play tennis. There was a big basketball gym that invites schools from the communities that we could have a basketball league and all that. Hamilton was more like just straight jail. Now this was more like a young offender facility. I stayed there from January until June. And in June, I was transferred to Brookside Youth Center. It's more like a boot camp. It's more like a boot camp, you know. I was in a program called the STED program, Success Through Education and Discipline. Because I was trying to make it look good for court because I knew I was pleading guilty to the armed robbery. So we wake up in the morning and run like 15 laps around the track. We would have to, you know, there was a rope, you would climb it up. Had a lot of activities for health and, you know, wellness for young offenders and young people to stay healthy and well. And it was good that the institution had that because it kept me strong up until today. I can still run around and do exercise, but it's nothing, right? So after Brookside, they opened up a super young offender jail, which is called the Roy McMurtry Center. And I went there August until December 14th. August till December 14th. And I got out on my charges. I was a free man on December 14th, 2009 from the Roy McMurtry Center. Those are all the young offender institutions that I've been to.
Okay. Yeah. That's crazy they move you around so much like that. What's the system like here in Canada? Is it like as far as the young offender system, it's a violent system? Is it like hard to do time in? Is it...
Yeah, that's why I was getting moved around. It's a mad fight, right? So I was in Hamilton, they're like, yo, he's a good guy, he's well spoken, he's a leader, he's influential, but so I get in a fight, let's try to move to a better facility. Let's try to like tone him down. That's why they moved me from Hamilton to Sprucedale. He might like it better at Sprucedale. Oh, he's still getting the fights with Sprucedale. Okay, yo, we got to discipline him now in Brookside. Now in Brookside, I only got into 1 fight. So they never moved me to the Roy McMurtry Center because of fights. They just moved me because it's a super jail now. Everybody's going to that jail now. And yeah, so that's where I finished off my time. But yes, from Hamilton to Sprucedale to Brookside, it was a matter of the system. Because not everybody some people in the system, some CEOs and social workers, they're actually trying to help you, you know what I'm saying? They see a young kid, they see potential, they see that he's a leader amongst his peers. Let's try to help this guy as much as we can, but they can take you to the water, but they can't make you drink it, you know what I'm saying? So and that's how it is in young offender. Everybody's young, dumb, and full of cum. Everybody wants to prove themselves and build a reputation. So fights happen, right?
On November the 10th of 2008, while he was in custody for the armed robbery, Lamar Skeete is charged with the attempted murder of Kenneth Mark.
On November 10th of that same year is when we were formally charged with attempt murder. So we were charged with attempt murder, we were already in custody. It wasn't that we got charged for it when they came for us on October 16th. We got charged for it in custody on November 10th, 2008. On September 2nd, 2008. There was a shooting at 2490 complex, right where running in St. Clair is. So it's located right across the street from Walmart. And there's a shooting that happened there, and the victim of the shooting cooperated with the police willingly right after the shooting and said, I don't know who shot me. The person who shot me was 6 feet. He was wearing a blue diamond cut jacket with a bandana on his face. This has to be a case of mistaken identity. I don't know who shot him. He said that on the scene, he went to the hospital, said the same statement that same day or that same night, whatever. Sometime, I think it was November 4th, they held a community conference with the police. And pretty much what the police were saying was, if the community doesn't cooperate with us, we can't find the bad guys. We can't solve all these cases that's happening in this community, from Runaway to St. Clair to the Junction to Cooper Mills over there to James to Dewey's over there. So we need your support as a community to help us as the police solve these cases. So I guess that's when somebody from the community must have suggested to the victim of the attempt murder that, yo, you got these two coolie boys who are running around here. We heard that they did an armed robbery on a taxi cab, because they were showing our picture from the taxi cab robbery in the community. So yeah, we know those kids. That's Lamar and Jabari. So they took that and said, look, these kids are being bad. They're robbing cabs. They must have been the kids that shot them. And now we started making up a whole story. I seen Jabbar that same morning. Lamar was with him. Lamar has influence in the community. Lamar told his brother to shoot me. And he made there's a whole KGB statement. I think he was talking to them for like maybe a half an hour. But as the statement's going on, you can tell that the police are coercing the statement. So they use that statement. That's how we end up getting charged and going to court. But the statement was so off and up and down and not accurate that the lawyers were having a field day with it. My lawyer's name was Chris Bisco, and my brother's lawyer's name was Cheryl Robb. So they were literally saying, like, no, this is a grassland, easy case. We fully know that the guy's lying, he's making it up. Why didn't he tell the police anything on September 2nd when he got shot? Why didn't he say, Lamar told Jabbar to shoot me? He got shot at 11 p.m. when it was dark outside. He first said, one guy shot me, 6 feet, diamond cut jacket. Right now, I'm 34 years old and I'm only 5'7". I'm nowhere close to 6 feet. So this is what's being played in court, you understand? And obviously judges go off of body language, off of what makes sense. And we had a judge alone trial, it wasn't a jury trial, you understand? So that's the evidence right there. 11 o'clock at night time, somebody with a bandana on their face. And now he's saying, no, for sure, it was Lamar and Jabbar, there's two of them. But yeah, they're both wearing bandanas. And how do you know it's them? I knew them for 10 years. So a lot of different switching of his testimony was happening, you understand? I ended up getting a year of probation. The guns, for me, I got my gun charges dropped. My brother ended up getting convicted for one of the guns based on rap lyrics as well. It wasn't known in the media, but they said that when they raided our house, they found a book of rhymes, and it said something about a 45 caliber in the rhyme book, and that's why he was convicted for 45 caliber that was found in somebody else's house.
Wow.
So that's why
crazy.
people ended up getting convicted for. It was 45 caliber that was found in 4020 complex, and so this rap lyric stuff, it really carries on. You understand? Even though he didn't record the rap or anything like that, they said, "Oh, we found a book of lyrics that said 45 caliber, so it matches with the type of gun that we got caught with." But in regards to the attempt murder, I went to a preliminary hearing, and the judge at the preliminary hearing said that he doesn't even know if I was there. There's no evidence to say if I was there or not. Even the victim said he can't recall if I was there. He kept recanting his statement and whatnot. I still got sent to high court. So you know how the traditional process works. Low court, we were in Old City Hall, or no, at the time we were in 2201 Finch Court, because we were young offenders. I wasn't in Old City Hall, I was in 2201 Finch Court for low court. And then we got put off to high court. You have to go stand trial in high court. So when we got to high court, our trial was set for December 14th, 2009. And on that day, December 14th, 2009, I walked in the courtroom and the judge said, "What is Mr. Skeete even doing here? You guys are wasting the court's time and money. There's no way Mr. Skeete could even get convicted for this." The victim said that Mr. Boyer shot him. Mr. Boyer will stand trial. This will be a 10-day trial. And the trial was over in 5 days. My brother was acquitted. My charge was withdrawn on the morning before the trial even started. So we have a difference between a withdrawal and an acquittal. A withdrawal is I didn't have to go to trial. That charge was taken off of my record, it was withdrawn, an acquittal. We stood trial, found him not guilty, he's acquitted of the case. So we have two separate legalities here, understand?
All right, guys, so before we go any farther, I just wanted to give you a breakdown, a timeline of events, because this is kind of a complicated situation. There's a lot of different things going on, so I kind of wanted to explain it a little bit better. But on September the 2nd of 2008, Kenneth Mark was shot and injured while in what authorities later alleged was an attempted murder. And then on October the 16th of 2008, Lamar Skeete and his brother were arrested for the armed robbery of a taxi cab. And while they were in custody for the armed robbery, Lamar and his brother would be charged with the attempted murder of Kenneth Mark. Those attempted murder charges would later be withdrawn in Lamar's case. And on December the 14th of 2009, Lamar Skeete would be released from prison.
So what happened after the attempted murder, my case was withdrawn.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I would say, what was it, maybe 17 days after that, victim of the attempted murder ended up deceased. And
The accused, whose life now hangs in the balance, agreed with the Crown. Unlike Mark, he lives by the code of silence.
Animal. Live from the Don jail in the cage where they have me.
Skeete even rapped about it in this song, recorded when he was being held in custody at the Don jail. He has pleaded not guilty. The accused